Have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to speak English, but your brain keeps translating everything from your native language first? You know the words, you know the grammar, but by the time you finish forming the sentence in your head, the conversation has already moved on. I used to feel exactly like that. I could write well, I could understand when people spoke slowly, but when it came to thinking in English, I always had to translate. It made my speech slow, unnatural, and sometimes really awkward. But over time, I discovered something that changed everything. I trained my brain to think directly in English. It didn't happen overnight, but once it did, my fluency, confidence, and even the way I understood English completely transformed. So today, I'm going to share exactly how I did it step by step. This is not about grammar lessons or heavy memorization. It's about rewiring your brain, building natural habits, and learning to live in English every day. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan to stop translating and start thinking in English naturally, even if you're not living in an English-speaking country. Let's begin. Before we talk about how to train your brain, we need to understand why it doesn't think in English yet. When you learn a new language, your brain doesn't delete your native one. It builds a bridge between your mother tongue and English. So when you want to say something, your brain does this. Thinks in your native language, translates the sentence into English, then speaks it. That process happens very quickly, but it's still translation and it slows you down. When you hear something in English, your brain often reverses the process. Hear the English sentence. Translate it into your native language. Then understand it. That's why conversations feel tiring. You're doing double the work every time. But the good news is your brain can be trained. Just like a muscle, it can adapt and rewire itself through repetition and exposure. Thinking in English isn't a special talent. It's a learned habit. There was a time when I thought it was impossible to think in English. I believed only native speakers could do it. Then something small happened. One morning I woke up and realized my inner voice, the little voice in my head, had said, I need to brush my teeth. Not in my native language, but in English. It was short. It was simple. But that moment felt powerful. It showed me that my brain could switch languages naturally. It just needed the right kind of training. So I made a promise to myself that day. I would stop thinking about English and start thinking in English. When you first start, don't try to think about complex topics in English. Begin with the simplest thoughts possible, things you do every day. For example, when you wake up, try to describe your morning routine in your mind. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee. The weather looks nice today. These small, ordinary sentences are powerful. Because they're connected to real actions, your brain remembers them faster. Do this every day, and soon your brain will start using English automatically for daily actions. If you're thinking, but what if I don't know a word? Don't stop the sentence. Use what you know. Say, I'm cleaning my what is that called? And move on. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is momentum. The more you train your brain to use English in simple moments, the easier it becomes for complex situations later. We all have an inner voice, that constant stream of thoughts in our head. Most of the time, it speaks in our native language. But if you slowly start turning that voice into English, your fluency will skyrocket. For example, when you're walking somewhere, start narrating what you see. That shop looks interesting. There's a man talking on the phone. I'm hungry, maybe I'll get some food. This habit transforms your brain because you're no longer waiting for a conversation partner. You're practicing 24/7. First, it feels strange, but after a few weeks, it becomes automatic. And that's when you start to notice something amazing. You stop translating. You just think. Thinking in English isn't just about speaking or self-talk. It's also about the environment you create. Change your surroundings so that English becomes a normal part of your daily life. Here's what worked for me. Change your phone and computer language to English. You'll start seeing English words all day without even trying. Watch movies, shows, and YouTube videos without subtitles or with English subtitles only. Read headlines and articles in English. Don't translate. Try to guess meaning from context. Label things around your house: mirror, fridge, door, window. When you see them, say the English word in your head. When you live in an English environment, your brain starts recognizing patterns and words naturally. It doesn't have time to translate, just understands. This is exactly how children learn their first language. Not through textbooks, but through immersion. You don't need a native speaker to practice. In fact, one of the best ways to train your brain is to practice speaking when you're alone. Talk to yourself. You can describe what you're doing, explain what you're thinking, or pretend to be in a conversation. For example, if someone asks me about my job, I'll say, "I think today's weather is perfect for a walk. Let me explain what I learned today." This kind of self-speaking exercise is powerful because it connects thinking and speaking directly. You're not waiting to respond to someone. You're learning to express your own thoughts naturally. If you can record yourself, listening later helps you notice progress, and it trains your brain to get comfortable with your own English voice. When you think in your native language, your brain often uses translation. But when you think in English, you need to use visual thinking. Instead of connecting words to your first language, connect them to images or ideas. For example, if you hear the word apple, don't think of the translation in your language. Picture an apple: red, round, sweet. The more you connect English words to visuals instead of translations, the faster your brain will start using English directly. I practice this by watching short videos or reading children's books. They use simple visual language that helps your brain build direct connections. Another trick I used was asking myself questions in English. It forces your brain to stay active. You can ask questions like, "What should I eat today? What do I want to do after work? Why do I feel tired?" When you ask yourself these questions in English, your brain automatically looks for English answers. It's like mental exercise. You're strengthening your English thinking muscle. Over time, I noticed that whenever someone asked me something in English, my brain didn't have to translate. The answer was already in English. When training your brain, avoid long or complicated sentences. Use short, clear thoughts. For example, instead of, "I would like to go to the supermarket later because I need to buy some vegetables," say, "I need vegetables. I'll go later." This doesn't mean you'll speak like this forever. But while training, shorter sentences help your brain respond faster. Once you build fluency in short sentences, your brain will automatically start forming longer ones without effort. Writing is one of the best ways to train your brain to think in English because it slows down your thoughts just enough to process them. Every morning or night, write for 5 to 10 minutes in English. You can write about your day, your feelings, or even what you plan to do. Don't worry about grammar or spelling. The goal is to express thoughts naturally. Over time, your written thoughts start flowing more easily, and that carries over to your spoken thoughts. This daily journaling habit helped me notice that my brain no longer needed to translate to write. I just wrote what I felt directly in English. Here's something that helped me a lot. When you're out in the world, imagine how you describe what's happening in English. If you're at a cafe, think, "She's ordering coffee. The waiter is bringing food. I like the smell here." If you're in traffic, think, "That car is moving fast. The light just turned red." This habit makes English part of your daily world, not just your study sessions. You start to live in English, not just learn it. Learning to think in English doesn't happen in a week. It's a slow, steady process. Your brain needs time to replace old translation habits with new direct connections. You'll notice small moments first, like understanding a phrase instantly or describing your day in English without effort. Those moments mean your brain is changing. Celebrate them. The more you expose yourself to English, through listening, reading, speaking, and thinking, the faster your brain adapts. Remember, your goal isn't perfection. It's comfort. When English feels like a natural part of your thought process, fluency follows automatically. Here are a few bonus strategies that made a big difference for me. Use English for fun activities. Listen to music, play games, watch shows, but do them in English. When learning is fun, your brain relaxes and absorbs faster. Think about your interests in English. If you love cooking, think about recipes in English. If you love sports, follow sports commentary in English. Connect English with your passions. Dream in English. You can't control your dreams, but if you think in English before sleeping, maybe by reading or listening to something, you increase your chances of dreaming in English. It's a sign your brain is truly switching. Speak out loud when reading. Reading silently helps, but reading aloud forces your brain to process pronunciation, rhythm, and meaning all at once. There comes a day when you realize you're no longer translating. You understand jokes, you react faster in conversations, and English starts to feel easy. That's when you know your brain has changed. For me, this happened during a casual conversation. Someone asked me a question in English and I answered instantly. No thinking, no hesitation. It felt natural. And that moment was worth every small practice session I'd done before. That's the power of consistency. Let's quickly summarize everything we discussed today. Understand why your brain translates. It's normal. Start small and think about daily actions in English. Change your inner voice to English. Surround yourself with English through media and environment. Practice speaking alone and record yourself. Use visual thinking instead of translating. Ask yourself questions in English daily. Use short, simple sentences to build speed. Journal every day in English. Think in real-life situations around you. Be patient and consistent. Small habits create big change. Thinking in English isn't just about language. It's about mindset. You have to see yourself as someone who lives in English, not just studies it. The more confident you are, the faster your brain adapts. And confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from taking small actions daily, even when you feel unsure. Stop worrying about grammar, stop worrying about mistakes. The goal is connection, not perfection. If you train your brain gently every day, through small thoughts, daily habits, and consistent exposure, one day you'll wake up and realize English isn't something you're learning anymore. Something you think in. And that's when you become fluent. Thank you for watching this video on how I trained my brain to think in English. I hope this guide helps you build your own daily routine and shift your mindset from translation to natural thinking. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be sharing more practical, real-world strategies to help you improve your English without stress and speak with confidence every day. Remember, fluency doesn't start with speaking. Starts with thinking. See you in the next video.